that next week I'm going to have a huge bombshell that I'm going to drop on Jimmy Cornette. And it's not going to be information that comes out of my mouth. It's going to be from the horse's mouth, so to say. And I hate to use that as the adjective to describe what I'm going to do, but y'all remember me talking about the date rape situation. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some 5 years ago, involving Jimmy Cornette needing a ride to the airport, and what he tried to pull on a couple of young teenage girls in the back seat of the mother's car. Well, you don't have to take my word for it, because that young lady now is 17, sneaking up on 18 years of age, and I've had a couple of talks with her this week, and she has agreed to come on to the bowling alley next week and tell her story as to exactly what Jimmy Cornette tried to pull in the back seat of her mother's Toyota. I'm not going to describe it any further than that. I'm not going to give the kid's last name. We're going to protect her as much as we can, because she has not turned 18 yet. That's still a few months away. And it's going to be a very touching segment, because I've heard her story before. I've heard what she said about Jim Cornette. She has a friend. We would like to try and get on the air as well, but she is still so traumatized by what Jimmy tried on her, this date rape thing and the drug that he tried to get these girls to take, that I don't know that we can get her back on the
air. Okay, Kenny.
I think we get the gist of what you're trying to say there.
Uh-huh. Well, I'd like to know, okay, first of all, how do you know this girl?
Well, she contacted me on the internet. She saw my MySpace page back before we had the power outage and back when I had 3,000 friends. And she saw that I had many, many young fans, young female fans, 14, 15, 16, 18, 22, 25, what have you. And that was a large portion of my pictured fan base. And a few of those I had in my top 40 friends. And she said, no, wait a minute. She says, Kenny's in the wrestling business. Jimmy Cornette was a big deal in the wrestling business. I've told my story to countless people that do not believe me. And then she saw on there that I used to work for Jimmy Cornette with Ohio Valley Wrestling before he got fired from here. She said, if anybody knows Jimmy Cornette, it'll be Kenny Bolin. So she wrote me a letter and told me of her experience with Jimmy. And immediately I knew this kid was telling me the truth, and I wrote her back and I said, your search is over. You don't have to find anybody anymore who believes what you've got to say about this situation with Jim Cornette. I believe you. And I've spent the better part of the last 7 or 8 months counseling this young girl, letting her know that everything's going to be okay. She doesn't have to worry about what Jimmy tried to. No, it wasn't successful. I've had people say, hey, well, why didn't Jimmy go to jail? It's like an attempted robbery, and a botched robbery. Jimmy tried something he shouldn't have tried with a poor little defenseless 12-year-old girl whose mother was giving him a ride to the airport. Well, after 7 or 8 months of counseling that I've done for this poor little thing, to try and get her in the right frame of mind and make her feel good about herself again, and let her know that there's people out there that do believe her, people that really know Jimmy Cornette and what he's about and what a low-life little piece of snake in the grass that he is, I believed her. Only because I know how Jimmy is. So what I did is gave her a tool to get back at Jimmy. To get on the air with me on the #1 rated segment on Who's Slamming Who, 50,000 listeners or better at any given time. Excuse me, it chokes me up to even get into this. For her to get on the air and tell her story of exactly what happened on that night when she come down here to get some autographs and to meet some wrestlers and ran into Jim Cornette in the parking lot. I'm not going to tell you any more than that. You want to hear the story? You can click the radio show you're listening to here, click my segment on Who's Slamming Who, and listen to this poor little girl's story. She's 17 now. This happened some almost 5 years ago. Listen to her story. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to believe me. Some of you people are hearing me for the first time. Some of you people have known me probably my entire wrestling career. I started in 1987 in Huntsville, Alabama, managing Tojo Yamamoto.
Wow.
Developed my television fame here in Louisville with Ohio Valley Wrestling in 1997. You people know me. You people know that I don't BS around, no pun intended, when it comes to talking the truth. BS, the name of my company, Bolin Services. Oh, I've got no reason to lie to you people. But if you think I don't have a reason to lie to you, you listen to this little girl's story. And if you want to yell liar or some horrible name about this little girl, go ahead and do so.
People are doing that.
Because I believe her. And Callie, if you got a decent bone in your body, I think you believe her too. How would you like for Jimmy to have tried that on you when you were 12 and nobody believed you? Put yourself in her high heels and her little mini skirt and blouse that she was wearing that night.
Now,
and some creepy old bald-headed, four-headed freak fondling you, trying to put his hands on you in the back seat and trying to get you to drink some date rape drug that he'd created. I don't think you'd care for it either.
Now, see, that brings up many questions right there that I had for a little bit later, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Why is it you were wondering what she had on? I'll play this clip here in just a little bit, a teaser clip of it, but why did it matter what she had on? Is that like...
Oh, make something dirty out of it, Callie. Go ahead and play your clip.
No,
go ahead and play your clip.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what.
I should have known you would go there, but go ahead and then I'll answer your question.
Well, okay, well, hold on, because the first one I'm going to play is where you're bashing Cornette, okay? You're calling him all kinds of names, and I just kind of wanted to know, is this personal?
I call it goat, and I call it spade a spade, but go ahead. I'll back up anything I've said.
Let me go ahead and play this clip where you're bashing Cornette. Let's play this. Wait a minute. Hold on. We got somebody in the chat room, fan in the chat room wants to know, why does a fatty like Cornette carry around a tennis racket? It's not like he actually plays a sport. So, and they're calling him a freaking bastard.
It was a prize handed to him by his mother. He was very fond of it. We all thought it was stupid, dude. Well, he's an idiot. I pack a briefcase because that's what I do my business out of.
I always heard there was bricks or money in that briefcase, Kenny.
Some people have accused me of packing a few Twinkies around in there, but only when I'm hungry.
All right, let me play this next clip. This is where you're bashing Cornette. It's just a teaser clip.
Well, I doubt it's bashing. It's probably more truth, but go ahead.
Well, this is the March 2nd podcast, part 1. So let me get to this.
I remember this.
Okay, hold on one second.
That's why Jimmy Cornette on his T-Mobile phone friends list probably doesn't have 2 names programmed in it. And I can assure you mine's not one of them. He has gone on and discovered what the rest of you need to discover, is that Jimmy is just a bitter old man who hates everybody and hates everything and has got to badmouth everything and badmouth any success that anybody has that he didn't have something to do with. He had nothing to do with the success of the WWE. He had nothing to do with the success of WCW. And nothing to do with the success of Texas wrestling or Oklahoma wrestling or Florida wrestling or Georgia wrestling or Memphis wrestling. As a matter of fact, just about every company that Jimmy was ever involved with went out of business, including his own. He is the ultimate failure, and he's realizing that now. So what he does is he goes and he badmouths the Vince McMahons. He badmouths the Kevin Dunns. I think they both still have jobs and are collecting humongous paychecks right now. He badmouths a couple of guys he works with in TNA that he had some problems with. I won't bring them up. I don't want to stir anything up down there, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. He badmouths Eric Bischoff, ran one of the most successful companies in the world.
Okay, Kenny. Now tell me, is this personal? Because it just sounds like, I don't know, are you two jealous of each other? How can you say he had nothing to do?
I think you got it half right. I think we've well established that he's jealous of me because he keeps turning up everywhere that I've been for the last 10 or 12, 13 years. It's not me following him. It was evident to me that he was never going to be any help to me because he didn't want any competition in the wrestling business. He didn't want anybody on the air who could talk as good as he could, if not better. He didn't want somebody on the air that looked better than he did, without a doubt, because I don't wear glasses. I don't have a balding head. I'm a good-looking